Last time out on the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship, Frank Bird flew a little too high and was forced to retire from the lead in Anglesey. Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins were on the case, however, and they put in a mega performance to win overall. Rob Hughes and Sean Cunniff won the D2 class in their Fiesta, with Ashley Morris winning in Class B. Meanwhile, Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth sealed the D2 title. There's more to be settled this time out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final round of the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship. Can you believe we are at Donington Park finishing off the season already? Where has it gone? We have still got some incredibly exciting battles going right down to the wire. We are going to go straight out and chat to those crews now. Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Sam. Looks well dry there. We've got another great entry list here at Donington Park for the final event of 2019-2020. In Class A, we've got a great little battle brewing between Amy McCubbin and Ron Walker in the Ford Puma and Adam and Ray Ripper. In Class B, Chris Ruck and Steve Harris have been the class act this season and lead by 12 points, but a disaster at the last stage of Anglesey deprived them of the win. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish were there to pick up the pieces, but will have to hope for more of the same to overcome the 12-point gap. Kathy Seward has already sewn up the Class C driver's title, but Colin Stevens still needs a good finish to hold off Will Brown. The usual suspects of Mike English and Andy Robinson and Blair and Shannon Thompson could also feature in the final standings. In D1, Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins have been the class of the field this year. They won last time out at Anglesey and they'll be hoping for victory once again this weekend to zero in on that overall title. Frank Bird and Jack Morton have dominated this year, but with two retirements, it means that they're out of title contention. Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth sealed that honour at Anglesey, and they'll be looking for the end of the season with a flourish here at Donington. Sam's in the service area with some of the championship hopefuls.
Barry, Tom, final round of the championship. I mean, what are we going for today?
Get a finish, obviously. Play it safe and don't do nothing stupid. Just get points, you know. So sometimes you have to take a step backwards to get what you want. So no, play it safe.
Very sensible answer. I like that. Tom, what are we here for today?
Well, ultimately points mean prizes, don't they? So we need some points. Nothing's different for us today. Same approach we've had on every event so far as I'm concerned. Just keep it neat and tidy and just keep chipping the stages off and get there at the end. Be there at the end.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, what you are doing already is definitely working for you. I suppose today, go out and have fun.
Oh, you still have to enjoy it. That's what it's all about. But you want to win too. So.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. We'll catch up with you later. Ron, Amy, final round of the championship today. It's looking pretty good up at the top there. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, we're good. We're looking forward to it. Weather's not great, but yeah, it's tight at the top. Adam and Ray are sitting the same as myself and Amy, so it's all to play for, definitely.
What does today mean for you? Final round of the championship, what would it mean for you to get that class win today?
It would mean a lot. Obviously, we won the class at the last one at Anglesey, so I think if we could finish the season on a high, that's really important. We finished second in class last year, so for me, there's no point in finishing second again, so we're going to go all out and do everything we can to win today.
Kathy, Colin, talk to me about today. I mean, you must have a different game plan to everybody else, really. Talk me through it.
Wow, today I think I've won Class C already. I've got that in the bag, mainly down to misfortunes of Mike English. Obviously on the last one, he had problems with his death. So I'm sitting quite comfortable today. I'm just out for a play. So I think the aim is to go out and have some fun, plenty of use of the handbrake, and just go out and hoon around, really. But I've got to get the car home for Colin, who's still got a bit to do, although he's leading. But I'm sure Colin will...
leading the championship by, I think it's 24 points. Drop scores take account, but just need to finish, really. And then take it from there, see what others do.
Excellent, exciting day. You've got it, you've almost got it. Best of luck, guys. We'll catch up with you later.
Great stuff, Sam. We could have some real excitement at this one, I think. Here's the plan for stage 1 of the Donington finale. They will start in the outer paddock and head around the back of the track, around a hairpin before joining the track and heading down the Craner curves. They'll complete 3 laps of the track, attacking various chicanes before finishing at the top of the pit lane. First out the blocks, it's Frank Bird and Jack Morton, so let's join them on board. They took a bit too much air in Anglesey and damaged the car on stage 3. They didn't show any signs of slowing down though, going 18 seconds faster than anybody on this stage. Back once again for the Renegade, and I'm joking. Peter Smith and Patrick Walsh were back, and they were quick at Anglesey and could feature in this final result. We should also keep an eye on the Subaru of John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton. They won't be hanging around. They've already won the D2 title, but Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth are still in with a chance of improving their overall positions, so they won't be going easy. We're on board with them as they absolutely fly around the back of the circuit and through the tyre chicanes. Just looks so narrow. Fair play to them. Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland are back once again, and they will be looking to challenge for the top times in their Ford Escort. Look at them go. Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins currently lead the way in D1 and the overall championship, but they will still need to finish. And after the Class B win at Anglesey, Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish could pose a threat to Chris Rook and Steve Harris. The Fiesta on song at Donington. Oh, sliding their way back into the championship are Joshua and Tamsin Davey. Watch out, that Tarian is rapid. Also back are Giro Carianti and Simon Coates in their Porsche Cayman. Hopefully, we'll catch up with them later. And look at this, Connor Tolson and Brian Ilaria, and they've got themselves a bit of a weapon. Lovely. That's a bit of an upgrade, lads, on that Fiesta you had at Anglesey. And talking of weapons, not Nigel, it's last season's D2 champion, and he's back, and he's got a Porsche GT3 Cup car. Steady on there, mate. Last time I drove one of them, I had a massive shunt at Alton Park. Sam's found some of the competitors in the paddock.
Steve, Jack, final round of the championship. Can you believe we are at this point already? What is the game plan for today?
Well, we need to win it really, but I can't see that happening. We've had a stall off the start already, so we're already on the back foot. But we're just gonna have a bit of fun and enjoy it and see what happens. You know, everyone's got to finish, haven't they?
Yeah. How are we feeling about the weather? How do we feel about the wet, you two?
It's wet. The only dry round we had was last weekend at Anglesey, and it didn't go so well for us. So at least we're used to this stuff. That's the main thing.
You've had a whole 7 rounds, 6 to lead up to this, haven't you? So we're feeling okay about the day then?
Yep. If it stays wet, it'll be great. We've got the tyres for it, like it wet. So yeah, we're just going to try and build up a bit of pace now and see what we can do.
John, Nigel, talk us through your day today. It's the final round of the championship. How are we feeling about it?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Did my rain dance this morning. It's coming good, but we've had a really good run this morning. Nice to be close to the Escorts and some R5s. We're struggling a little bit with Beardy, but it's to be expected. But if it keeps raining, well, yeah, you never know. And the two-wheel drives will start coming back as it dries out, I think.
And we've been having a chat to some of the other guys this morning. Apparently it's really slippy out there. How are you finding it?
No, it seemed okay. He kept it clean and tidy and, yeah, real good. Yeah, and it wasn't too much of a problem. Thank goodness we got four-wheel drive and good tyres.
Frank, Jack, last round of the championship. I mean, what are we going for today? Because obviously the championship is a little out of reach now. So what is the plan for the day?
Just try to win, really. All the rallies we finished, we've managed to win. So hopefully you can end the season with a good result and try and confirm that we should have really won the championship.
So this is the plan for today. Another rally, another win. Talk us through what happened at Anglesey, because we didn't catch up with you guys afterwards. What actually happened with the car?
I sort of just hit the jump a bit too hard, really. So it landed on the nose. We broke one of the input shafts on the gearbox. So unfortunate end to the day, but hopefully we can get a good result today and make up for it.
So the guys obviously sorted it, not a problem. We're all good for today?
Yeah, cars running mega for today. So after that first stage there, a bit of a steady run around. We've got a bit of a different setup on the car. We were going to be trying for Barbados later in the year, but obviously the conditions aren't really Barbados-like. But it's a bit stiffer than what it normally is. So just playing around a bit. So steady run through the first stage and decent enough time.
Here's the results after the first stage. And in Class A, Matt Wood and Daniel Petrie keep it on the stage this time to lead by 15 seconds. Ron Walker and Eamon McCubbin are tied with Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins for second place, which is good for their championship chances with the Rippers down in fifth. In Class B, Chris Rook and Steve Harris have the narrowest of margins over their title rivals, Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish. Simon Matchin and Adam Houston are out in third place ahead of Paul Gorge and Daniel Hurst. They have an outside chance at the title, but let's see how they crack on. Guess who's back? Back again. Joshua and Tamsin Davey are back and at the top of the times in Class C by 20 seconds. Robin Adams and Ray Keith then head Mike English and Andy Robinson in third and Kathy Sewett and Colin Stevens in fourth. Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowlands lead Class D1 by 7 seconds from Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones. Mike Taylor and Martin Haggart are third, Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins just 3 seconds further back in fourth. You can expect them to take some progress as the day goes on. Frank Bird and Jack Morton top the D2 times, going 18 seconds faster than John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton in their Subaru. Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth are third, with Peter Smith and Patrick Walsh in fourth. There's a good battle brewing here for the podium honours. In the overall standings, Frank and Jack lead by 18 seconds from John and Nigel, shoehorning their fourth though into the top three are Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland, whilst Joshua and Tamsin Davey are fifth equal with Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones. We've got battles all the way down the order. This is going to be a belter. Stages 2 and 3 are fairly similar to this morning, with 2.5 laps of the circuit preceded by a run through the car parks and the Sunday market, including a trip around the old Melbourne hairpin and finishing up into the old pit lane entry. That just sounds like me going around a circuit. Fastest of the D2 runners overall were Frank Bird and Jack Morton in their Ford Focus WRC. The pair have been absolutely flying this season, and but for 2 mechanical failures, it could have been a challenge for the title. Second in D2 at this point were John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton in their Subaru Impreza, having a good run through the early stages. On board now with Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth, who, with a points finish today, were aiming to clinch the D2 Championship, competing in their second car of the season as they moved to this Ford Fiesta R5 Evo from the Mitsubishi. Conditions were quite tricky out there, as you can see, but this wasn't slowing Richard and Calvin down too much. Whoa, I've been round here, it's proper slippy. Yes, that's what we like to see. A nice little bit of sideways action. A little further down in Class D2, but worth a mention, is Lee Allen and his Mitsubishi Evo. Lee has driven alongside his wife Louise and daughter Abby, and today his son Sebastian is in the car with him as well. It's a lot of people in one car. Running down the rest of the class leaders, Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland headed the times in D1 as they had a successful return to the championship. Fastest in Class C were Joshua and Tamsin Davey, starting the day strong in their Darien. Look at that for a pit lane exit. Get fined for that in touring cars. In Class B and heading towards the championship were Chris Rook and Steve Harris in their Opel Corsa. What a beauty. They've been awesome all year, absolutely on it. And in Class A, it was the Vauxhall Corsa of Matt Wood and Daniel Petrie that were quickest. We love a Corsa, don't we? An honourable mention and riding on board with Nigel Mummery, who made his return to the championship after sitting out most of the season. Nigel here with Steve Cox alongside him competed in his class of his own as he brought out his Porsche 997 Cup car, which was built for the circuit. However, Nigel rallying this machine, and understandably he was a little bit cautious through the early stages. However, he's given us some great onboard footage here, and it's fantastic to have him back, particularly in a car like this, which shows off the real breadth of the championship and the range of cars that compete in it. Swiftly onto stage 3 and running through Class D1, Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland were still leading the way in their Ford Escort. The former champions were giving it the big one to try and catch Frank Bird. Next up were Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones in their Ford Escort, capping off a good end to the season with 4 strong finishes. They could be a force to be reckoned with next season. Third in class, doing everything they needed to do to take the overall championship as well as class title here. Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins in their Darien. Let's go on board with the pair as they battle these tricky conditions. Is it me or is that steering wheel tiny? That looks so scary. Not much room to play with along this part of the circuit, with a fence on one side and a concrete wall on the other, but the pair barely slowing down as they wrestle that Darien around these stages at Donington Park. Stephen and Jack Tilburn were just behind them in a close fight for the top 3 in the D1 Championship, and indeed the overall top 3, coming right down to the wire. Hot on their heels were Mike Taylor and Martin Haggart, looking to bounce back after disappointment of retiring at Anglesey as they aim to get 3rd in the overall championship and 2nd in the D1 class. Slight outsiders for the top 3 were Paul Morrow and Callum Cross, having a really good first season in their Ford Escort. Smooth and consistent runs throughout the season have helped the pair to finish strong. Leading the way overall and in the D2 class were Frank Bird and Jack Morton, who were starting to pull away from the field once again. Let's take a quick ride on board with them as they tackle one of the tighter parts of the stages. I just want to touch that velvety dashboard. He's come such a long way since I used to sit with him in that Ginetta Junior. Need to turn in a bit earlier next time, Frank. Joshua and Tamsin Davey continue to lead the way in Class C in their Darien. This pair are always quick when the car is reliable, and hopefully today it will remain on song. Chris Rook and Steve Harris similarly remained in Class B and were doing everything they needed to do to clinch the class championship. As you can see though, there's a little bit of damage on the car and they were getting a wiggle on. And they weren't caring about the championship by the looks of things. They were pushing pretty hard regardless. In Class A, a change of the lead as Jonathan Hudson and A.D. Collins took over from Matt Wood and Daniel Petrie, who sadly retired with, quote, a rather large hole in the engine block. Let's join Sam in the service area with some interviews.
It is so good to have you back with us. Talk about what you've been doing.
Oh, you mean in the meantime?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as you know, we did Alton Park.
Yes. Yeah.
And breathed in a bit of water in the water splash, which was a bit of schoolboy error, so I was flat out. Won't do that again. Which broke the engine, so I had to fix the engine, but it took me a while because I've got a day job. So I managed to get out for brands, and then blew it up properly. So the engine had to come out again, and it was scrap in the end. I didn't want to get stuck out on stage, so I just kept pottering around, and eventually it seized solid. So I had to go and find a new engine. So I found a new engine, and when I got it home, it was not a very good engine. So I had to put my old engine and this new engine together to make one good one. And it takes time to do that.
It's great to be back out again. I mean, I love Donington anyway. I've done track days here myself in cars, and just being here, it's a lovely big open circuit. And yeah, it's great to be out.
Paul, Dan, talk us through the game plan today. Have we got a game plan?
Yes, game plan is... we're not really looking at the results, to be honest. We both agreed just to go out, go as fast as we can, have a laugh along the way, and we're going to end up where we end up at the end of the day. So we're not seriously not that worried at the moment in time. If there's mistakes to be made, hopefully it's somebody else, and we might make a jump, but we'll see.
Well, this is what I love about coming to this garage, because you guys are always really happy, you're always really like, yeah, we're rallying, and that's how it should be. And it's nice to know that the pressure's not particularly on the final round, and you can really enjoy it. And what's it been like for you this season?
I've absolutely loved it. The first season in the MSN Rally Championship, and we've just had a lot of laughs, a lot of smiles, and met a lot of great people. So It's great. It is.
You're getting your own show, you two, aren't you? Are we under the understanding that you two are having your own show?
I'm waiting for my contract to be written up now, the new face of MSN Rally Championship, but we'll see.
We did think Dumb and Dumber, but that's already been taken, hasn't it? So, you know, unfortunately.
Be original, get creative. Well, good luck, guys. We have our fingers crossed for you, and we'll catch up with you later on in the day. Firstly, happy birthday, Chris. We can't start without saying massive happy birthday. What else would you rather do on your birthday, really, than finish off the championship? So talk us through your day. How is it going? He's definitely not letting you slow down, is he?
No, he's not. He doesn't know the meaning of the word slow, I'm afraid. For me, I needed to finish the rally, obviously, to win the class, but I decided that if I tried to drive slowly, I'd make a mistake. So his idea is we go out and we win it. But we tried to do that at Anglesey, didn't we? And went a bit too quick.
And you're right, you've got to enjoy it. It is the final round, like we were just saying, you're having a bit of a break now and like doing a few things. So you've got to go out and enjoy it. Certainly doesn't need to be backing off now, does he?
The whole thing about rallying is going out and enjoying yourself. And yes, you obviously don't want to throw it away and stuff, but you also just want to enjoy every rally as it comes, sort of thing. So yeah, we're having a go. If we finish second or something like that, it wouldn't really matter, sort of thing. But so you've just got to sort of press on, but without going too much. Yes, on that last one we had a little glance of some tyres, sort of thing, but it's a bit of tea-cut, you know. It'll be all right. So.
A bit of teacup, I like that, a bit of teacup. Maybe quite a lot of teacup, but anyway.
It's a new rear bumper, I think, not a bit of
Guess what? It was my side.
Always, it always is. Of course it was. But it would be nice, you're currently leading the championship, it would be nice to finish with that class win in the bag, wouldn't it?
That's what we're here for. Yeah, I mean, for us, having, well, for me personally, 25 years out, to come back to win the class would be absolutely fantastic.
Great work there, Sam. Thanks for that. Let's see how the results are looking after 3 stages. Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins now take the lead of Class A, and narrowly behind them are Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin, who would be set for the class title if they could continue that. In Class B, Chris Rook and Steve Harris had a 14-second lead over Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish, who were pushing hard to try to snatch the championship from them. In Class C, Joshua and Tamsin Davey had a healthy lead in their Darien, with Mike English and Andy Robinson second, and champions-elect Kathy Seward and Colin Stevens narrowly behind. Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland headed the way in Class D1 in their Ford Escort, ahead of Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones and Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins. In D2, there probably wasn't anyone who was going to catch Frank Baird and Jack Morton if they had a clear run to the end of the day. John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton were best of the rest, with a good lead over Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth, who would claim the class title with a sensible finish. In the overall standings though, after stage 3, Frank Baird and Jack Morton lead by over a minute from John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton, with Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland just 10 seconds behind in 3rd place. With plenty still to play for, join us after the break. We turn the other direction now for stages 4 and 5, starting in the pit lane and running around the circuit and taking in a tight, fast and uphill infield section, which will offer a different challenge for the competitors. Running through, the Class C competitors and Joshua and Tamsin Davey remained on top of the times in their rapid Darien. Some way behind them were Mike English and Andy Robinson, who were pushing on in the turquoise Terra Ford Escort and wrapping up 2nd place in the championship with today's performance. She's a beauty. Well done, boys. 3rd in class were champions-elect Kathy Seward and Colin Stevens in their Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. Lotus bits, giving them everything they need. So let's join on board with them now as the pair run through this tricky infield section. I'd have been in the trees there, Kathy. After narrowly missing out on the title last year, this time out would be a very sweet one for Kathy and Colin, and a lot of hard work. Fantastic team they are. Leading the way overall by over a minute with Frank Bird and Jack Morton in their Ford Focus WRC. I said earlier on they look unstoppable, and nothing has changed that so far. Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland had the way in Class D1 in their Ford Escort, pushing on to try and claim second overall from John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton. Oh. Some proper commitment, that. Love it. Oh, too close to the fence and concrete walls for me, thanks very much. In Class B, Chris Rook and Steve Harris remain fastest in their Opel Corsa, still pressing on, and as we heard earlier on, not wanting to take it easy today as they were closing in on that title. And in Class A, Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins remained in the lead of the class in their Suzuki Swift. Heading quickly onto Stage 5, Chris Rook and Steve Harris were the pair to beat in Class B, having been right up there from the first round of the championship. They've driven brilliantly. Such a cool front-wheel drive car, on song through the trees. They remained on top despite the best intentions of Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish, who were hustling their Ford Fiesta around, that's mega, while celebrating the 50th anniversary of Cirrus Research this weekend with special decals on the car. Third in class were Mark Peterson and Jim Bowie in their Citroen C2R2 Max. Love that. There was an outside chance of the championship for this duo as well, but running a minute behind their rivals meant that they would finish up third in the Class B championship standings. Great effort though. Also outsiders for the championship were Paul Gorge and Daniel Hurst in their Paul Sheard Mazda MX-5. Let's ride on board with them and see if they're as good as me, as I'm a total hero for a roundy roundy. This pairing always good value for money, hustling that car around and enjoying themselves regardless of the result. He's rubbish at karting though. Flying around Donington Park, Frank Bird and Jack Morton remain top of the times. We went on board with them around this tight section earlier, and you can see how it was from the other direction as the conditions dry out. Leading the way in Class D1, Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland continue to show why they're front runners in their Ford Escort. My God, is that rev to like 16,000 revs? Love it. Giving it the big one with Joshua and Tamsin Davey, heading the way in Class C in their Darien and hoping for a good finish after having more ups and downs than a bride's 90. In Class A, Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins also remain top of the times in their Suzuki Swift, moving swiftly around the stages. Oh, my word. Sam, in the service area, save me with some interviews, please.
Mike, Andy, how are we finding today? We're currently having a little bit of a debate on tyre choice, aren't we?
We are, yeah. As you can see, it's brightening up a little bit now. Still very wet in places, but I don't think it's wet enough to carry on the wets, so it could be inters or some really, really scrubbed wets. We're just debating that at the minute.
And obviously, we've talked about your class all season because your class has just been a fab battle and banter between you all. And obviously, congratulations to Kathy. But how are we feeling today in general?
Yeah, Kathy's done well. You know, we've suffered with attrition this year. Anglesey last time out, differential problems put us out, so we've dropped too many scores to be competitive for the championship win, really.
First time at Donington, Paul. How are we finding it?
Good, fantastic track, flowing brilliant. It's just us. We're lifting when we should be on, and as soon as you've gone through it, you think I've lifted again, you know. But and because you're in like 5 and 6 gear, it makes a big difference, and this is what we're finding. Like that run then from first to second, we've just took 24 seconds out, but it's great and we're enjoying it. It's brilliant.
And it is a completely different style of circuit, isn't it, to the others in the championship? It is very open and very flowing and very fast as well. So, you know, you've said about next year, haven't you? Maybe learning from this year and coming back next year?
Oh, we've learnt so much from this year already. Like Callum, he's got the notes, and you know we're making alterations as we go now. You know, we're lifting where we shouldn't, like I said, where we shouldn't be lifting. Next run through, we know that, and hopefully we'll keep picking through them. Yeah, good.
Mike, Martin, how is your day going today? Obviously, we didn't have the finish that we wanted from Anglesey, but what was the game plan for today?
Game plan today is just finish and try and finish as high as we can. If we want to keep third in the championship, we've got to stick close to Mr. Tilburn. We don't have to beat him. Just stay close and don't get too many people in between us. So that's the plan for the day. And we're directly behind him now.
Excellent, that's ideal then. So you're literally getting to chase him down today.
Yeah, so we're 20 seconds behind him. I think Tilburn's currently 9th and we're 10th. So it's going okay. It was better earlier on when it's wetter. It's drying out a bit now. So we'll see how it is when we change tyres.
And how have you been finding today? Obviously back at Donington, final round. What are your thoughts?
Well, 2 more stages to go. It's been an exciting championship. Looking forward to those final 2 stages. All to play for still.
Yes, absolutely. Well, best of luck, guys. We'll catch up with you for the end of the day.
Moving on to stages 6 and 7 to end the day. These will be similar to stages 4 and 5, but without the old Melbourne hairpin loop to contend with. That actually looks like the heat map of one of my qualifying laps as it ends in the trees. Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins remain fastest in their Suzuki Swift. This was a really good run for the pair during this event. So cool, so many different cars, love it. I used to go out with someone with a Suzuki Swift, she was cool. Second in Class A and doing everything they needed to clinch the Class Championship. Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin in their Ford Puma. A strong season from this duo despite this being their first time in the car. A little further behind were Adam and Ray Ripper in their Nissan Micra. It was a tough break for this father and son pair. Last year, narrowly missing out on the class title, and it was looking like they'd have a similar story this time out. Frank Bird and Jack Morton continue to lead the way in their Ford Focus and were looking pretty unassailable with a healthy margin. That thing is unreal, isn't it? Leading D1 were Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland, who were also pressed on to try and claim second overall in the rally. They just look angry all the time, I love it. Continuing to the top of the times in Class C were Joshua and Tamsin Davey and their Darien running on song. They were having a great afternoon. Stop showing off. Moving closer to that Class B title, it was Chris Rook and Steve Harris who remained on top. Here's confirmation of the results after 6 stages. Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins led Class A from Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin, with James Hardy and Nick Wilkins not far behind. In Class B, Chris Rook and Steve Harris had a good advantage over Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish, who themselves were over a minute ahead of Mark Peterson and Jim Bowie in third. In Class C, Joshua and Tamsin Davey led by over 2 minutes from Mike English and Annie Robertson, who themselves had a minute over Kathy Sewett and Colin Stevens, this year's class champions. Woohoo! In D1, Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland had a 30-second lead over Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones, with Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins doing everything they needed to become overall champions, sitting in third place. Frank Bird and Jack Morton led Class D2 by a healthy margin over John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton, with Richard Wells and Calvin Holsworth looking to claim the class title in third place. The overall times show Frank Bird and Jack Morton leading from John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton, who had just a 13-second lead over Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland. That would be a close battle heading into the final stage of the day. Taking their 5th win of the season here were Frank Bird and Jack Morton, another dominant display. Topping the times in D1 were Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland, also claiming 2nd overall after late problems for John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton. In Class C, Joshua and Tamsin Davey finished in style with a healthy victory. Chris Ruck and Steve Harris took the win in Class B, claiming the championship title in the process with their 5th victory of the season, whilst in Class A, Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins remained quickest to take the win. Celebrating the overall championship title were Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins as they finished 2nd in class on the day. Richard Wells and Calvin Holsworth wrapped up the D2 title, taking 2nd overall in the standings, despite a late bit of muddy action here. God, like June buggies. Taking 3rd in the overall and D1 standings were Mike Taylor and Martin Haggett after another strong season. Claiming 2nd in the D1 Class Championship were Stephen and Jack Tilburn after a consistent season. Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish secured 2nd place in the Class B Championship standings in their Ford Fiesta after giving Ruck and Harris a run for their money. And they were closely followed in 3rd by Mark Peterson and Jim Bowie. Securing the Class A Championship title were Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin, just 4 points ahead of Adam and Ray Ripper when all was said and done. Let's join Sam with today's top 3.
Congratulations, 3rd overall. I mean, you've come from nowhere today because it started off a little bit tricky, didn't it?
Yeah, the conditions weren't suitable, but I think you had to play it safe, try and get points and get a finish. But when it dried up, it was hard not to push on. So, no, it worked in our favour, so all's good.
Well, I looked at the results after stage 6 and I think you were 6th. To be on that podium, to get those points in, I mean, what, you wanted to beat Richard Wells, didn't you? That was your aim for the final stage.
Well, that was definitely what we thought we could do. We definitely achievable looking at the times. But yeah, we've had a fantastic run these last 2 stages. Clean, no traffic. Courteous traffic as well if we did get some, which is brilliant from Mr. Tilburn. Yeah, fantastic. And Barry's just proper got his head down and yeah, managed to bag a podium in the end. It was just amazing.
It was very, very impressive from the outside in also. Well, huge congratulations, guys. Excellent result today. 2nd overall. It seems that whenever you've joined us this season, you've ended up on a podium. It's been a really, really good entry today. You've got to be pleased with it.
Oh, definitely pleased. We were up there all day, battling 3rd all day. We really thought we were getting 3rd, but it's hard luck for Car 7, not Subaru. But yeah, 2nd's unbelievable in the field. What's out there today? Some really competitive cars and drivers. Yeah.
And how have you found Donington sitting in with Ian today? We were actually laughing because I saw you coming up this pit straight and that bus stop chicane, you didn't even lift. You just ploughed straight through it. So there's no wonder he's catching these guys.
Yeah. I would have said it's Ian's favourite track. So this is his favourite, and he always does well. Is that your 3rd, or you've had 2 or 3 wins? Three wins here and a 2nd. So it's not a bad record.
Not at all. That is a pretty good record as far as it goes, doesn't it? But it's been great to have you back again and seeing you a few rounds of the championship. Congratulations once again, and we hope to see you again soon. Really ran out of things to say to you guys now to congratulate you, because you've got a pretty good record. If you finish the event, you're winning the event, aren't you, really?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain. Yeah, every rally we've finished, we've won. So another good way to end the year. Win by a comfortable margin. So. Really good stuff. Thanks to all the team for everything this year, and Jack, of course. So hopefully you can come back and do some more next year.
Fab. And I mean, Donington last year, that was one of your first events in this car. Obviously, you've done a lot since, but I mean, from going from the bonnet flying up last time you were here, you know, I mean, well, I had to get that in there. But Jack, I mean, sitting in with this guy this season for the full season, how has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been absolutely unbelievable, really. After his first ever rally was here 12 months ago, and since then, I think his win record's something like 8 rally wins out of 13 rallies, so there isn't many drivers that can do that. He's just absolutely unbelievable talent. And now to win a rally at every circuit bar in Alton Park that we've done so far, so we need to come back and do Alton Park later on in the year to try and do that.
Thanks, Sam. Here's how the day ended then, starting with Class A, where Jonathan Hudson and Addy Collins held on by 8 seconds to win from this year's champions Ron Walker and Amy McCubbin. James Hardy and Nick Wilkins went well in third place ahead of Adam and Ray Ripper. In Class B, Chris Ruck and Steve Harris wrapped up the championship title with a victory of over 1 minute from rivals Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish, with Mark Peterson and Jim Bowie rounding out the top 3. Joshua and Tamsin Davey ended the season on a high with a massive victory in Class C. They'll be ones to watch next season. Mike English and Annie Robinson had a good run in second, while champions Kathy Seward and Colin Stevens finished third. Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland were the ones to beat in D1 despite a late surge from Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins, who took the title, and Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones, who had a great run in third. Frank Bird and Jack Morton were unstoppable in D2, winning by over 3 minutes from Peter Smith and Patrick Walsh, who were just 4 seconds ahead of Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth. John Griffiths and Nigel Wetton ran well, but a final stage problem dropped them down the order. Frank Bird and Jack Morton took the victory on the day by almost 3 minutes from Ian Woodhouse and Paul Rowland, with overall champions Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins finishing third. Let's join Sam with my faves.
Mike Martin, third overall for the 1920 season. You've got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, it's better than we did last year. We were fourth last year, so third this year's an improvement. We were hoping for first. We were leading for most of the season, but it's rallying. We're third. Can't complain.
And in general, I know there has been a few issues, and yeah, you've been leading for most of the year, so it's frustrating after Anglesey, isn't it?
Yes.
But yeah, on the podium, and all in all, it's been a good year, hasn't it?
Oh yes, another fun year in the Circuit Championship. Yep, glad to have sat next to Mike for the season. Shame about Anglesey, but yeah, decent result today.
And it's been really, really good to have you guys back, because I mean, your team is just fab as well, isn't it?
Well, we've tried to attend every round since the championship started, and that comes down to reliability of the cars, which is down to my crew chief over there, Keith, who's had the cars reliable all year. He's done a fantastic job, both cars.
They are a fab team. It's been really, really brilliant to have you back, and hopefully we'll see you back next season.
We'll see.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations once again. Richard Calvin, second overall in the 1920 championship. I mean, it's your first year doing the whole season. You've had 2 different cars, both new to you. To finish second overall, that's huge.
Yeah, pretty overwhelmed to be fair today. It's it's awesome. Yeah, definitely be back next year.
Excellent, because the championship wouldn't be the same without your sideways kind of spectacular. Just ignore him when he's telling you off, telling you not to do these things. People enjoy it.
I enjoy it, but I don't think it's the quickest way, but it's definitely the most fun.
Drifting is slow. Drifting is slow.
It's good to watch. It's good to watch.
It's not for us.
So what's it been like from your side of the car? I mean, you obviously keep him right, because he does sound like he gets quite excitable. So you obviously do a really good job, and to finish second overall.
Yeah, we're chuffed to bits. I mean, we came here today to get second in the championship and to finish the race and do what we do. It's great.
Here we are, Barry Morris, Tom Hutchins, our 1920 season champions. Guys, massive congratulations.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
I mean, you definitely travel the furthest to come to these events, and you've been at every round. What does this mean today to get that first overall?
No, it makes the journeys, the late nights, all that, makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
No, over the moon.
And what about yourself, Tom?
Again, the same. It means a lot to me to win this championship. You know, I'm lucky enough to do the first season with Mr. Rangiotti Quigley and his Clio. That was fantastic. But coming back again after a break and sitting with Barry, and that's just been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Excellent. Well, I imagine there will be a lot of celebrating tonight. I think we don't have a ferry till tomorrow, do we? No. Enjoy that, guys. You're massively, massively well deserved. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Ooh, that's a nice sunset, isn't it? Running through the championship standings now, and in Class A, Eamon McCubbin finishes first, slightly ahead of colleague Ron Walker. He was equal on points with Ray Ripper and Adam Ripper narrowly behind. That battle was fantastic all the way through the season. In Class B, Chris Rook and Steve Harris ultimately couldn't be caught after a fantastic season, with Ashley Morris and Jamie McTavish closely behind. Narrowly behind them were Mark Peterson and Daniel Hurst, Jim Bowie and Paul Gorge. In Class C, Kathy Seward and Colin Stevens wrapped up the championship coming into the weekend, with Will Brown taking third and Andy Robinson and Mike English close behind. In D1, championship victors Barry Morris and Tom Hutchins took the crown, with Stephen and Jack Tilburn narrowly finishing ahead of Mike Taylor and Martin Haggett after their unfortunate retirement at Anglesey. In D2, Calvin Holdsworth and Richard Wells were the class of the field. Frank Bird and Jack Morton gave a tantalising glimpse of what they could achieve with a full, solid season of competition. Lee Allen narrowly finishes just behind the pair with consistent performances. In the Michelin Cup, Barry Morris takes the title ahead of Richard Wells, Mike Taylor and Paul Murrow. Looking at the Co-Drivers' Championship, Tom Hutchins claims the title ahead of Calvin Holdsworth and Martin Haggett. And finally, in the Drivers' Championship, Barry Morris heads the way ahead of Richard Wells, Mike Taylor and Stephen Tilburn. It's been another fantastic year of competition, and we look forward to seeing you all again this autumn. Peace out.